trying to get some things set up here. Mainly on the YouTube side, so those of you that are following me on Twitch, thank you for your patience. YouTube's taking its sweet time. Someone asking about the stream that I'm trying to fix. Oh, okay. Okay, jeez. We're doing, currently at work because of this pandemic, we have to pack all of our stuff up today, and there's a lot to do. Let's do that and this. Sam, let's do a bunch of stuff that you guys can't see. Again, thank you guys so much for your patience. I want to say, I think I would like to find a way to cut out all this dead time and edit this stuff, but knowing me, I'm not going to end up doing that. If it doesn't work this time, I'm just going to say screw it and keep going. Alright, oh geez, that does look like a lot. Oh boy. I'm going to have an early Friday morning, y'all. Alright. Gonna say YouTube has this new streaming thing, and I'm like, it's not letting me get to what I need to get to. Because I think I have it on low latency right now, and I'm trying to get it to ultra low. Hate me. Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's not letting me switch it. So, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting any more than I already have. So, I'm going to refresh restream just to make sure we're good on that. I believe my YouTube is on low latency, so it should be fine, but it's still, there's still a delay compared to Twitch's, which is why they have ultra low, but it won't let me switch to ultra low for some reason. All right. I think we're good. We're as good as we're gonna get. Yeah, I just don't know how to switch it. That's really obnoxious. And again, welcome to YouTube. Okay, it's 2:31 right now. I meant to get on it too, but I've been fiddling with things for the past half hour. Yes. There we go. Hello, Desk Laser. So since I have one person on, might as well get started here. Again, apologies for anybody that is on YouTube or comes onto YouTube later. You might experience a slight delay, because for some reason it won't let me switch to ultra low latency. I was trying it for like the past half hour and it wouldn't let me do it while I was live, but it also wouldn't let me edit my video to make it so you guys could see it unless I was live. So yeah, YouTube's got a lot of work they need to do. But anyway, positives. This game, which is one of my favorite games of literally all time, this is tied with Persona 5, I would say, as my favorite game ever. And I guess Rock Band, but like games with plots, this game is tied with Persona 5, and this game's like almost 10 years older than it. So I think that's saying something. So yeah, for those of you that are new, welcome. This is a series that I have been doing since stuff got real with the COVID-19 coronavirus quarantine, specifically in the United States. Okay, so Desk Laser is on right now, and he's also, I met him through the Trauma Center fandom, though he really knows the DS games more than the Wii games. And he says, after I bought that copy of Second Opinion with no box at GameStop, I found a copy complete in the box at the antique store in town for $3. Oh, yeah, it really depends. I was streaming Second Opinion last week to prepare for this. So for those of you that are new to this series, if you are a fan of Atlas, like at all, like Persona, if you like Persona and you have any desire at all to play like a medical game or a simulation game, and you like games like Persona or Catherine or other games by Atlas, 100% recommend the Trauma Center series. There are 3 games on the Wii. There's Second Opinion, New Blood, and Trauma Team, and then there's 2 that are on the DS, Under the Knife and Under the Knife 2. So I am actually playing this on my Wii U. You used to be able to get it on the Wii U eShop for, I think it was $20, but the Wii U eShop doesn't exist anymore. So now you have to get the game like in disc online somewhere, but I feel like you could still get it for around $20 if like you look in the right places. Same with really any of the Trauma Center games, because they're considered to all be super niche. So you're either going to get them really cheap or really expensive, depending on where you look. Second Opinion was the Wii launch title. At least that's what I heard. I didn't get it at launch, but what I have seen is Second Opinion was the launch title, which I believe came out in, I want to get my facts right, so I'm going to look it up real quick. I believe it came out in 2006, but I'm going to double check. So this game is the latest game in the series, and it came out on May 18th, 2010. You think it's just the Wii shop? I thought it was both. I thought it was the Wii and the Wii U shop. Well, hey, if the Wii U shop isn't down, get this game. You have no excuse. It's $20. Let's see. November 19th, 2006 was Second Opinion, so I don't know if that was the Wii's release date, but that seems fairly close. The series started with Under the Knife, which was on the DS. Then came Second Opinion, which was a port with added material, kind of like how P5 Royal is to P5. Then New Blood, which was in 2007, November 20th, so it was the year after that. And then sometime in between there was Trauma Center Under the Knife 2, which was a direct sequel to the original Under the Knife. And then this game came out in 2010. And what makes this game really interesting compared to the other Trauma Center games is you actually play as 6 different doctors in 6 different medical fields, and they all kind of like overlap. They do those like overlapping kind of stories. I found out recently through my boyfriend Lasercats that I guess Resident Evil 2 did a very similar thing where like the stories kind of overlap, but maybe I just saw Roll Tide fandub of it. We've been obsessed with them lately, so that's why. But yes, these are the 6 doctors. Ah, see, there we go. It says teamwork. All right, so let's go ahead and get started, because a lot of you are probably like, what the hell is this game? I'm gonna show y'all. All right, so we're actually gonna go ahead and play on my save data that's already cleared. I was thinking of using the new save data, but I realized I lied a little bit. I stretched the truth a little bit in my promo for this series, because I said I've been streaming throughout COVID-19 and the coronavirus pandemic, but I said this game, Trauma Team, is the only game that I will be streaming through the entire thing. All the other games I've been doing have just been bits and pieces, including games like Persona 5 Royal. But this game, I guess that's technically not the case. I will be playing the entire thing, but my plan for the diagnosis and forensics missions is I'm not going to stream those live. I plan on having guests for those episodes. So those most likely will not be live. But everything else will be. And actually, when I planned this, I did not expect it to be live. I told myself, like, I'm going to be doing a Trauma Team. I'm going to be doing a Trauma Team Let's Play in May of 2020. But I didn't think I was going to be doing it live because I didn't think all this stuff was going to happen. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So this is just the opening cutscene. Also, I apologize in advance if I first turn on the game and I'm at like a weird random spot, I could have either been practicing or I could have been recording one of the Diagnosis or Forensics episodes. I will just warn you that might happen, but I will try to keep that as spoiler-free as possible. Alright. With that, let's go. Y'all are never gonna look at monarch butterflies the same way again. I'm gonna move myself over a little bit. There we go. I'm also hoping to make like an appreciation post on Instagram, but I need someone, dapple me, to send me back the, I had a small Trauma Team cosplay group at MagFest this year, and she took a bunch of photos for me, but she hasn't sent them all to me yet, so I want to wait until we get that. So yeah, this is Rosalia. Bit of a spoiler, but the name comes into play and the character comes into play very early on, but we don't really know anything about her until later. Okay, so let me actually start talking about the game. So the majority, trying to move my camera up, there we go. The majority of this game takes place in this hospital called Resurgam First Care, which I believe is actually supposed to be in Maryland. I think it's a make-believe hospital, but it takes place in Maryland, I want to say. Because New Blood takes place in Maine. After Second Opinion, they started to make the games a lot more American-based. This game actually came out in America before it came out in Japan. It came out in Japan on my birthday, June 17th of 2010. But yeah, so basically there's two groups. There's Resurgam First Care, which is where a majority of the doctors work. And then there's the Cumberland Institute of Forensic Medicine, or CIFM, and that's where Naomi, a.k.a. Best Girl, works. But yeah, so the way that we're going to be playing this, actually, I'm gonna get my, I have a timeline on my Google Sheets. So what we're gonna do is you can either play it two ways, basically. You can either go down one person's plot and then just go do that and then go on to the next person and then go on to the next person. But what I have found is I think you guys especially will get more enjoyment if I play this in as much chronological order as I possibly can. There will be some things with like the diagnosis and the forensics that I am probably going to have to spoil you on, because those episodes will probably come out later. But just so you're aware. But everything else, so basically everything that's CRS-01, Maria Torres, Hank Freebird, and Tomoe Tachibana, those are all going to be on here. They're all going to be live. The Gabriel Cunningham and Naomi Kimishima, those are the ones I'm going to do not off camera, but off stream, with special guests, who I don't want to say any of them in case any of them are like, no, I don't want to do it anymore. I feel like that's probably going to happen at least one occasion. So we'll see. So the plot starts with Sleeping in Bloom, which is the cutscene that we just saw. But it starts, these two events happen at the same time. Tomoe's opening event and Gabriel's opening event. I'm going to go ahead and play both of them, because it's a cutscene. There's not actual gameplay happening in there. So yeah. So this is Tomoe Tachibana. And I'm gonna warn y'all, a majority of the fandom, this is their least favorite mode in all of the Trauma Center games. All of them. Everybody hates endoscopy. A lot of people, oh yeah, by the way, there's also a lot of fan service in this. Male fan service too, actually, I feel like there's quite a bit, but especially female fan service.
Very good.
But yeah, this is Tomoe Tachibana. She's played by Stephanie Sheh. who I've actually met at a convention before, and I was dumb and completely forgot that she played Tomoe. Granted, the time that I met her, I wasn't cosplaying from Trauma Center yet, but I do want to meet her again, like, in probably my Naomi cosplay. I could do Maria too, though, because Maria and Tomoe have a closer relationship. Some people actually, some people ship them. So yeah, she's a very, like, traditional Japanese young lady. Very reminiscent of Yukiko Amagi from Persona 4. There's a lot of, like, Persona 4 and Trauma Team, like, similarities. And it's because the games came out around the same time. I want to say Persona 4 came out in, like, 2008. So there's a lot of overlap there. Okay. So this is Gabriel Cunningham. He is a diagnostician. So you'll probably not see him very much, at least on my live streams, but again, I do hope to record his episodes, and I do plan on posting them, and I'll try to let you know this is the point in the timeline where this happens, so.
Yeah, I must have dozed off.
But yeah, he is played by Travis Willingham, who I know has also been in Catherine, and he's done some other stuff too. And he's married to Laura Bailey, I believe, who used to play Rise Kujikawa, and she plays a couple characters in this game that I'm not going to mention because spoilers. Okay, so yeah, basically, as you can tell, his relationship with his wife, if you can even say that, it's not very good.
Well, then.
There's divorce stuff happening there. And they mentioned his son. I think they said Joshua. He's barely seen his son. That will come into play. But yeah, so that's two of our 6. And then I think we have one more cutscene to look at. Oh, we have 2 more. Okay. So now we're on, like, the next part, like the next section of the story. So the Gabe and Tomoe stories started at the same time. This one starts a little bit later. So this is Hank Freebird. He is an orthopedic surgeon, and for those of you that know Shadnader from some of the stuff that I've done on my channel, a lot of the Danganronpa 2 videos that I still need to edit, he's in quite a few of those. He was the Hank Freebird in our cosplay group at MagFest. So we definitely didn't have everyone, but we had a lot of people from Hank's plot, and we had a lot of people from Naomi's plot. So I think it was Thursday? Yeah, Thursday we did, like, a group of Hank's plot. So we had him, we had, I was Maria, who's another major character in his plot. She has her own plot, but she does a lot in Hank's story as well. There's a lot of overlap there. And then there's a character that comes in later that Hank shares a very close bond with, who we had. Yeah, he's a superhero too, just by the way. This game gets kind of crazy. It's interesting because I remember very specifically reading in interviews, I don't remember the creators, but they were like, oh, we're going to make this game so much more realistic than any of the other Trauma Center games. We're going to get rid of the healing touch, which was like a big thing in all of the other games, because we're going to make it more realistic. And yet you have people like Tomoe who can literally ninja teleport with her butler, and then you have Hank, who's a superhero by day. Like, sure, I mean, you're Atlas. You're never going to be quite realistic. Let's be real. Okay, and now we get to, and then we're going to do the gameplay after this cutscene, but I figured let's get all the cutscenes out of the way. My bae, my number one favorite video game character of all time. I've mentioned her a lot. I've cosplayed her a lot. And that is Naomi Kimishima. So I keep thinking that you're aware of her Desk Laser because she's in an older game, but she was in an older Wii game. So I don't know how much you've played of Second Opinion, but she's originally from Second Opinion. So I don't know if that'll help you at all. But I do want to give a little bit of backstory before going into her cutscene, because I do know her cutscenes very, very well. So I know exactly what happens in this one. But basically what you need to know, spoilers for Trauma Center Second Opinion. She used to be part of this criminal medical organization called, it was either called Delphi or Delphi. I don't know how you pronounce it. But it was I know it was a major criminal medical organization and Under the Knife as well, so you should be familiar with it, Desk Laser. But she was actually involved with them. And then she also had an assistant that helped her out, who I believe in that game was unnamed. But she had the same assistant throughout all of her missions, basically. And she was a surgeon back then. Here she's not. She's a forensic analysis. I will not give the reason as to why, because they do reveal that later on. Yeah. I think that's all that really needs to be said. Let's go. I love my bae. Yeah. So, CIFM, Cumberland Institute of Forensic Medicine. So, Naomi's plot is fairly separate from the rest of the characters because she works in a different building, basically. Oh yeah, her nickname is the Corpse Whisperer, and that is something else you will find out why she has that nickname later.
Come in.
Let's just say that there's a reason that I relate her a lot to Taya Takemi from Persona 5. And I tell people, hey, if you like Takemi, you need to play this game. So that's her boss, basically, of course.
I'm a medical examiner, not a police officer.
Unnecessary fan service, but it's okay because Naomi's
You can't
gorgeous.
just turn the government down.
Fine. Well then.
Oh, and Naomi?
I feel like there's definitely things that I can do to upgrade my cosplay of her. So this is the guy
Here's our liaison from the FBI.
that she worked with back in the day at Delphi. This is the guy that she worked with.
Special Investigator Naval.
And he's all like, oh, I've never met you before. Yes you have. But yeah, I gotta get a new wig for her. I gotta get it styled. I could use some fur for her boots. Her tie is actually a clip-on. So that would be cool if I could get that. But yeah, I had, I don't know his username, so I'm not gonna say his actual name, but we did have a little guy, in our cosplay group that we did on Friday. So Thursday was like the Hank group, and then Friday was like the Naomi group, and he was our little guy.
Whatever you say, ma'am.
Good.
That don't you ever talk about my past again. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, the black and red suit, that is very
Send
Naomi.
the address to my GPS.
Coming up here is an iconic Naomi little guy
Have them
scene.
bring the car around.
That's what she ends up calling him, is little guy.
Tell your
Which is
people
funny
it's
because
something
you see here that he is clearly taller than her, but she kind of degrades him a bit. Here it is.
Nice tie there, little guy. Be a good boy.
I love her. Be a good boy and stay. Doctor! Oh well.
Oh, well.
It's too good. So, for anybody that was like at the Atlas photo shoot at MagFest this year and was wondering what that tie pulling thing was, it's from that scene. It's a very iconic Naomi moment. But yes. Nice tie, little guy. Be a good boy and stay. Alright, so I'm going to kind of fiddle around with the difficulties here because I was practicing before I even started the Courtney-19 series because I knew that I was going to do this. I will say all of the endoscopic missions I'm gonna do on intern. Because as you can see, they're hard. they not too easy. So we're gonna do them on intern. And then I don't remember about Hank's. CR's I think we're gonna do on resident, and Maria's we're gonna try specialist, I think. But I don't think we're gonna get to any of CR or Maria's stuff today anyway, so we'll see. Alright. Start episode. But yeah, the only major character from this game, or female character that I haven't cosplayed yet, is Tomoe. Who I might, just because, like, no one else has done her. Well, I know people that have, but, you know. Here's Maria coming up. So if you've seen me in that outfit, that's Maria Torres. Very similar look to Chie Satonaka from Persona 4, and I would not be surprised if that was completely intentional. But, yeah, if the voice sounds familiar, she's actually played by Amanda Winley, who plays Yukiko in Persona 4. So, fun fact there. Oh, speaking of voice actors, Hanks is slipping from my mind. I don't think he's very well known, but Naomi is played by Kirsten Potter, who I am almost certain played Takemi in the original Persona 5. Not the new one. They changed her voice, and I hate them for it. She hasn't said that she's played her, but she has been listed as Takemi on IMDb, so there's that. Oh yeah, Tomoe goes through a big, like, for those of you that watch Avatar, which, by the way, if you haven't yet, it's on Netflix now! And everybody that's, like, going back and watching it, or is watching it for the first time online, it's, like, warming my heart so much. But yeah, she's all about the path of honor. Kind of like how Zuko's all like, I need to restore my honor. Like, it's a very similar, well, actually it's not similar at all, but they both use the word honor! So there's that. Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, in case you couldn't tell by the fact that she is a butler, Tomoe is heckin' rich. She is very rich. She got the money.
The grip is boxwood, embellished with golden bellflower.
I will say her plot, I want to say, is kind of interesting, if only because, like, it kind of makes sense that she goes down the path that she goes, but at the same time it doesn't.
Also, it is thinner, thus less intrusive.
Oh, also, apologies if I block any of the lines that are on this side, that pop up. It's mainly because the instruments are going to be on this side during the game. Oh, that side. So I want you guys to be able to see what instruments I'm using and stuff. Alright, so, I'm glad that I showed you guys that, that game cutscene, because I forgot that Joshua is the first patient we ever operate on. But, so yeah, Joshua is, as I said, Gabriel Cunningham's son.
Huh? Oh, his mother can't be here because of work. His father, he works here.
Like I said, they all work at Resurgam together, except for Naomi, who works at CIFM.
I presume there are no further hurdles.
Anyway, going back to voice actors, CIFM, if Little Guy sounded familiar to you, the guy that was like, Special Investigator Naval, it's a pleasure to meet you, Doctor. If he sounded familiar to you, he is played by Yuri Lowenthal, who is the same voice actor for Dr. Styles in the DS games. So,
Path of Honor demands we save this
fun fact if you weren't already aware.
Right.
Alright, so I just want to show this to you just for giggles. This will be very interesting because the way that I'm planning on playing the modes that are normally single player only, I'm actually going to play with a guest. And the modes that can be played co-op, I'm going to be doing single player only. This one is the stupidest form of co-op because it's literally one person holds the light and then the other person uses the tools and then you switch every 30 seconds. It's Like, it makes endoscopies even stupider than it already is. So. You're going to see the trashiness of endoscopy here.
Well then, let's begin the operation.
There's a reason that everybody
Please do your
hates
best.
it. Alright, so what you have to do is you have to have, you'll notice that my Wiimote is going to be, it's this black one right here. Yeah, this is the Wii game, for those of you that were not aware. I've mentioned that, but yeah. It's an actual Wii game where you point and click at shit. But the controls are actually very intuitive and they're done very well. But yeah, you basically have to keep your arm up like this the entire mission, and it sucks. Because these missions can go on for a good, like, 10 minutes.
The view ahead is clear. The patient seems to be in good condition. Let's move the camera and take a look around.
Alright.
It's responding quickly.
And this is
Let's
just,
move it
it's
forward.
tutorial. Alright. There's a lot of this motion that happens in this mode. There's a lot of that. You will be seeing a lot of that. Except don't do that. Just press the down button. It's so much easier. Yeah, like, don't ever use the AB. Don't do it. Just press down. I did. There.
This truly is a quality machine. I have to thank whoever built it.
It's okay. I paid a lot of money for it because the Path of Honor requires it.
The endoscope seems to be working.
Finally, this is a small child we're dealing with.
First, we must locate the affected areas. Let's move forward until we find them.
I'm gonna turn it up a little bit just to make sure that I can hear the dialogue, because I'm thinking I might have skipped something just there. Okay. Yeah, see, please put the Wii remote toward the screen. Stop. Oh, also, something that you should be aware of. Is it this button? Yes. According to, who is it? Scathing Accuracy, you want to have your camera sensitivity as high as possible. I think normally it's set at like 3. Yeah, you want it at 6. I'm not sure why, but I've noticed that that does actually help me. So just for your reference.
These are blood pools. Let's treat them using
Also, if I was trying to play, like, not like competitively, but like really trying, I would be going a lot faster than this. But since this is the first mission, I figured it would be good for you to kind of see what the hell is happening. Okay, so all of the Trauma Center games for the Wii kind of have this similar idea where you use the nunchuck. I think in New Blood, you don't even have to use a nunchuck, but you should. Like, but yeah. So you use, instead of like actually tapping on the icon with your stylus, like in the DS games, you select it using the nunchuck. Which I actually like better, because once you get used to, once you know like what tools are where, it actually requires less movement. So. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh yeah. So this is the one tricky thing compared to the other modes. This is the only one where you have to select and use tools using the C and Z buttons. None of the other modes do that. All of the other modes use A and B. I think maybe orthopedics uses C a little bit, but not much. It's not like a frequent occurrence. Yeah, the big thing is you don't want to bump into any walls. And honestly, during this playthrough, I'm going to focus more on trying to not fuck up, accuracy, rather than speed. Because I don't want to look like an idiot. At least not right
This
now.
area is hemorrhaging. Let's use the hemostatic forceps.
Alright. So this you have to actually time. This is good to have the sound on so you can actually hear it. Yeah. that's just something you get used to the rhythm after a while.
Hemostasis has been completed. Let's move on to the next treatment. Vitals seem low.
They're at 76, Tomoe! You're fine, but game makes you do what it makes you do. The vitals seem low, even though they're in the green. And there's no sound of... Oh yeah, it does that instead of... Well, sometimes the characters also say that the vitals are dropping, but... It's actually not too bad, believe it or not. Nothing can be as worse as Angie Thompson going, vitals dropping! Alright. Oh yeah, this is also kind of tricky because there's stabilizer, but there's also a syringe.
Alright, first ulcer's been treated. Watch the amount of medicine.
I did. I was good, Maria.
More
Chill.
affected areas. Let's keep moving in.
Alright. Okay, yeah, this part sucks. So you have this radar for you to be able to spot where things are.
Here's an ulcer. Let's inject it with alginate solution.
I'm actually not sure what kind of solution that is. I might look that up. Damn it.
Alright, we're done treating the ulcers. Carelessness is our greatest enemy. Some ulcers cannot be found visually. Huh? What are we supposed to do then? We'll be using a spray to cause those ulcers to change color. Please remember all that, alright?
Oh, Maria.
For example, I'm going to mark an area that
I'm not really sure how it looks suspicious, but okay, Tomoe, you do you. Sprays here. And then...
Okay, inject the medicine.
Medicine.
The ulcers have been treated. Let's move on to the next step.
I'm hoping you guys don't hear echo.
We've reached
I
the
only
stomach.
tested so much of that
Cardiac
before going
speakers
live.
movement and move on.
Alright. Damn it! Ugh, I always suck at that! Yeah, so that's the other reason people hate these missions. Those stupid walls that go in and out, and then there's also ones that like literally, what is it? I think it's hydraulic pressure that pushes you back. And you're like, could we not? Oh, okay. Oh, there's the thingy.
Alright.
Hopefully this mission won't take me too long. Sometimes it doesn't take me too long, sometimes it takes me forever. So hopefully for your all's sake, it won't take me too long. Oh. Okay, there we go.
Hemorrhaging is hey, we're in injection. Okay, let's begin the treatment. The blood pool has been removed. Let's continue the treatment.
There we go.
Perfect. Let's continue.
Alright, there is a thing there. Oh, there it is. It's just bloody blood. I actually kind of like that this game, it almost pulls a Danganronpa before Danganronpa existed in the way of how cartoony they do the gore and stuff. Like, it looks like ketchup. And the tumors in this game in particular, like, they look like gems.
Condition isn't stabilizing. Let's use the spray to search for more problems.
Alright, thank you so much for stopping by, Desk Laser. It's good to know at least I got one person into this one. So next time I will be streaming this should be next week. Time to be determined, but it will be on Tuesday. I'm gonna try to do every Tuesday as much as I can. Oh, wow, that was very big. I did not realize that was that close.
Procedure complete.
There we
Well
go.
done, everyone.
Whew, using that thing takes a real light touch.
All one needs is the resolve to stay calm.
You were actually here probably for the important part, Desk Laser, just because...
That's the part that tires me out the most.
Yeah, that's probably like Maria in a nutshell, is that line. Because you learned about a majority of the characters. I think the only one you didn't see was CR. Big F Monster. I believe you are new. Are you new? Speaking of, I want to check to make sure that my stream is actually being labeled the right things. I'm going to do that real quick. So, yeah. I don't think I got Ness because I took way too long and I got 2 goods, but let's see. Oh, okay. Hey, not bad. Alright, need that.
Well done. It ended safely. Thank you for your support, Maria.
And yeah, these actually change depending on how well you do, for the most part.
We're so formal. Friends help each other out.
Sometimes, like, if there's a big plot thing. Okay, cool. It does say. Jenny plays Courtney-19. Trauma Center Tuesday. Wasn't sure if it did. Woot woot.
Operation complete. I'm sure Joshua will make a full recovery. Way to go! It went perfectly. That's our chamoy.
Maria loves her glomps.
Thank you. Your support was valuable.
Oh, you are a mag friend.
I didn't do all that much.
You are mag friend. Why does the username not sound familiar then?
Cunningham too.
Man, parents always worry about their kids.
If I know you from somewhere else, I guess hit me up on social media and being like, hey, that's me, because that username does not sound familiar. Oh, but now I'm curious. Now I want to know.
Getting married, stuff like that.
Oh, Maria.
I see.
But yeah, since you know me from MagFest, then you know how obsessed I am with this game.
Oh, no. My mother died when I was young.
But I am streaming the entire thing, not all in one go, but
That's
I'm streaming pretty much the entire thing
than when I left Japan.
in honor for the game's
Oh,
10-year anniversary being yesterday.
jeez. Sorry.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know when to shut
So you know I'm obsessed. Oh yes, I love that animation. No, that's a inside joke with me and my
Okay.
one of my best friend's story.
Anyway, I'm sure your
My-
dad's wishing you the best.
My sister bestie.
I mean, you are the best
I
NSF
forgot
researcher
that was
in
coming up. There's some very interesting animation choices in this game, and no is one of them.
America. No problem. Come on, let's go get our grub on.
Oh, Doctor, I want to go too.
There's a line delivery also in Hank's plot, I want to say, that's really weird.
What, you guys want in?
And then there's an animation near the very end of the game that Tori and I are always referencing. Those two are really cute. Darnell and Emma, clearly supposed to be proxies of Derek and Angie from the earlier games, and are probably dating, though they never actually say it, but like, come on, yo. Okay, so we're gonna skip this. And I will let you know when it's recorded and come to it and all that. Alright, let's see. What do we have next? We have the big guy and Moment of Zen. I would rather not do 2 orthopedic missions in a row, so let's go back and do Hank. But let me check to see if I want to do him on intern or resident. He might be okay. Let's try him on resident. I might end up regretting that. But we'll see. Like, I'm gonna try not to redo missions, but it might get to the point where I'm like, my pride hurts so much that I need to do it, so. Yeah, regret nothing. I don't know if that's gonna happen during this playthrough. Oh goodness. Oh, Hank.
What in the world are you doing?
Good morning. I tripped and I fell.
Not Gabe. Well, Gabe and Hank, both of them.
Take a look at this chart.
If you can hear any audio echoing, by the way, just let me know. Because I do need the sound up a little bit.
Yeah,
And with
I was
the way my
wondering.
monitor works, like,
She's stable.
headphones wouldn't really work.
I
So.
see. Don't celebrate yet. Make sure you do a good job. Got it?
Yeah, of course.
Mhm. Alright, so who's this? Oh, okay.
She has a case
So,
of Crohn's disease.
Should be easy.
I told you guys, potential spoiler spoiler warning. So in the episode of Diagnosis that we just skipped over, which I am planning on having a guest over, well, not over online, to record it later, so it probably won't be live, so I figured we'll skip it, find a way to come back to it, maybe, in playlist somewhere, but, yeah. This is the first Diagnosis patient, and when you're playing as Gabe, you actually diagnose her with Plummer's disease. So, basically, a majority of these patients you first see as Gabe, and then you bring them to other people. So, you've already seen her before at this point, and then you bring her to Hank.
Make your incision in the neck and excise only the adenoma.
She's a cutie. And it's funny, because she's one of the many characters voiced by Laura Bailey, who is married to Travis Willingham, who is the voice actor for Gabriel Cunningham. So, of course, they had a lot of, like, fun poking there. So the way co-op works in this mode is it's literally, you just take turns. Like, not much really to do there. In this mode, I would honestly suggest not holding the nunchuck as much as possible. You hardly ever need to use the nunchuck in this mode. Just because you need to be so precise because of that.
We gotta start with an incision into the neck. Grab the scalpel first.
But yeah, I was thinking, I'm wondering if I should end at that last mission. But then I'm like, I haven't even been on here for an hour yet. We're gonna keep going.
Use the scalpel and trace the incision guideline.
Incision complete.
Stop patting yourself on the back. From here on, it's the real deal.
Okay, the only thing I would really need to be able to hear, I think, would be the screws. And those don't come in until later, so I'm gonna turn the sound down a little bit.
That's right. No need to rush. Take all the time you need. You can stop whenever you want. Just stay close to the guideline during the excision.
Alright. So from what I remember, like, the harder difficulty you're on, the less of a guideline they give you. Like, they don't give you as much leeway. And then if you saw that little chain, like, spark, the thing I really like about Hank's missions is the farther you go and the more of a chain you rank up, the music actually gets more, like,
Looks like it's this one.
more, like, intense and such. You guys can probably already hear it.
That was pretty good.
Tomoe's kinda does that too, just depending on, like, the area of the body that you're in. But, damn it. I wouldn't say to the extent of Hank's. I want to say something was up with the sensor bar there, actually. But,
Don't push yourself. If things get hairy,
but yeah, so 2 ways to break your chain. You either fuck up, like I just did, and you lose half a life. Or, yeah, I need to
Straight from the guideline.
sit up for this. For some reason. Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. Let me back up a little bit, see if that will help. Aww.
The second one has been completely excised.
So, yeah.
space.
I am not going to get a good score on this one just because of that. And then the other way to break your chain is to let go.
Indeed, this is a large one.
So a lot of times they're like, pause and take a breather if you need. If you need to, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. But you really shouldn't, or you can pause, but
Different though.
don't ever let go of, I'm pressing A and holding while I'm doing this tracing. I mean, it says right there, A. So don't ever let go of A unless you think you're getting so close to the edge
Cautiously continue.
that you're going to break your chain anyway. Because that way at least you won't lose half a heart. And this limit system, they also use in the diagnosis missions and the forensics missions. But the way they use them in the diagnosis missions, in my opinion, is really annoying. And I'll probably mention that more when we actually get to that point.
No, not yet.
Let me move this
Can't
way
leave
up.
any of these behind, after all.
Okay.
Alright.
So you've only seen speed runs. I've basically done, like, kind of sort of the equivalent of speed runs on here. Like, I haven't taken my time as much in my practice streams,
Looks like you're on a roll.
but because the streams I'm doing for, like, this actual series are really going to be focused on plot and really knowing what's going on, I'm gonna, in general, take my time more than if I was actually just, like, playing by myself.
It's going well. There shouldn't be too many left.
I think there's only one more.
According to my speculation, this should be the last one. Stay focused until you're done with it.
Alright. If I remember right later on that like these things move or things like very similar to them move and it's fun.
Rock solid.
Ah, that was close.
Well done. Keep that up, okay?
How about it? Are there any more?
Nope. That was the last one
It's
after
the
all.
last one after all.
Let's close the operation field and finish up.
Okay, I think this is where the screws happen.
We're using this.
Oh no, there's no screws in this mission.
Make sure to
I must be
avoid
thinking of the
leaving
next one.
Okay.
Alright.
Just follow the line and staple the
So
incision.
normally
I'm sure you
in
know
these
this.
games, when you would finish up a patient, you'd stitch them up. In orthopedics, you staple. So what I do is I press and hold B to kind of lock on to my position, and then I press A along with it to like confirm it.
4 more to go. I'll continue.
And I've seen a lot of other people do the same strategy, and it really helps them with precision.
Operation complete. That went well.
That went well, except for the time where I messed up 2 times. Yeah, I mean the operation completed slow because again I was taking my time. So, I got many calls though, so let's see. Okay, A! Way better than I thought I was gonna get. Alright, cool. I will take that. I was gonna say, if I got a C, I might want to redo it.
I hope she recovers quickly.
Don't worry. The operation was a success. I'm sure this girl will be happy with the results, too.
I'm trying not to make the dialogue go too fast. Oh, here we go. Speaking of, remember when I was talking about fan service, that there is male fan service in addition to female fan service? Here's some of the male fan service. Oh, this part's really good actually. Yeah. I love this part.
Damp in here?
They do some expert lamp shading here.
If you went diving without an oxygen mask. I drowned?
It really is. It is very anime.
Is it?
And it's funny because I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, but you know what? I'm gonna look up the name of the creators of the series. But whoever, like, the creator or the director of this game was like, oh, we're gonna make this game more realistic than the other Trauma Center games. And I'm like, sure. You've already shown, like, 3 times in the past, like, hour that that is not the case. But, okay, you do you. Those being, you will find out in a minute here that Hank is a literal superhero, and
Bar some... Hey.
the other being that Tomoe
Oh.
is a literal ninja who can teleport with her butler on command. Yeah, I think we're about to see superhero Hank, a.k.a. Captain Eagle. Director Daisuke Kanata, programmer Takaki Aikida, artists Masayuki Doi, writers Teppei Kobayashi, composer Shoji Meguro, as I said, Atsuki Kitajo, I think is how you pronounce it, who I think has done work in the arena games as well, the Persona arena games, and Ryota Kozuka, who I do not recognize. Guns don't kill people. Nuh-uh. I kill people with guns. Anyone remember that? Brings you back to around this time period. Oh, fun fact. For some reason, I don't remember this being a thing, or I would have referenced it in my Trauma Center Is It Accurate panel, which I definitely want to redo that. And I want to redo, or I don't want to redo, I want to do a panel that's basically like why you should play Trauma Center if you're into Persona.
You're under arrest.
Yes, the show me your genitals guy. Exactly. If you haven't seen it, you're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? I have heard of Azura's Wrath. I've seen clips of it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Bayonetta. Doesn't it have some Bayonetta vibes to it? And I like Bayonetta because of the fact that it's like a trashy anime. Or not a trashy anime, but like absurd anime, I guess. But yeah, fun fact, the story was influenced by the 2009 flu pandemic. Oh, H1N1. It was inspired... Really? It was inspired by H1N1? I don't know if that's accurate. Granted, it's on Wikipedia and there's no actual source. Yeah, beginning pre-production in late 2007, the timing wouldn't have added up. Because this game would have come out either like right after or during the H1N1 business. Actually, the pandemic that this game reminds me of is the Ebola pandemic, which happened in like 2013, I want to say. Sometime between then and now. Because there's some stuff that happens that's very similar. And when I heard about it, about the Ebola thing happening, I'm like, oh, so it's like that thing from Trauma Team. Alright, oh, yeah, I'm not doing Resident, fuck that. I would say look up Ebola, but also don't, because that would be major spoilers. But...
Hey, Tomoe.
The largest outbreak to date was the epidemic in West Africa, which occurred from December 2013 to January 2016.
Ah, good morning, Dr. Cunningham. Did you need me?
Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah. For those of you that know what Ebola is, that might be coming later. And for those of you that don't know what Ebola is, don't look it up so you can be terrified.
The train would be straying from the path of honor.
Oh, I missed that great scene.
One must maintain a strict regimen in her life and her heart.
Hold on, I gotta relook at that scene because that scene's a classic. I was an idiot not looking at it. I was too busy talking about a spoiler disease. It's not super spoilery though, because it's like it's based off of Ebola, but there's other stuff in addition to it. It's definitely like, in my opinion, knock on wood, but far worse than what we're going through. I love that. Just this face. That face right there. It's just so classic. And then she's just like, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Cunningham.
I love this. You could just see him in his mind going, what the hell? But yeah, I would say the disease in this game is basically if the Ebola virus met guilt
Failing to train
from
with
Second
this
Opinion,
of honor.
or stigma from what I remember
Mom
of
must
stigma.
maintain a strict regimen in her life and her heart.
Alright, I see your point. Anyway, turn on the news.
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so this, for timeline purposes, this is taking place, it's supposed to be taking place the same time as the mission that we just did. But if you're watching it the way that I'm watching it, this is actually happening right after the mission we just did, not during it.
Bastard who made a living.
Because they just said, oh, he was captured by a masked man, which was clearly Captain Eagle.
He needs an operation then.
And how would he
Well, I
be
don't care much.
being transported to the hospital
Stash. We need to get the drugs out before the
Before-
bags open inside him.
Hank found him? Like, it wouldn't make sense. So, like,
not only
really,
did I get an antitoxin for the drugs, but
I feel like this mission should have been in, like,
I wasn't done, you know.
the part of the story after. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. But they're on, like, the same time of the story, and they shouldn't be. This one should be after the one we just did, instead of at the same time.
I'm sorry
Esha! I think this is the first time we've seen Esha.
Whoa!
Esha's great.
Here.
She is the next character I want to cosplay from at least Trauma Team, if not the entire Trauma Center
I was
series.
just waiting for
But,
you. Let's go.
actually, a bunch of friends and I were planning on doing a Trauma Team group for Otakon, because I think I got some people hyped with the Trauma Team group at MagFest, and then, you know, all this shit happened. So,
There's no doubt the drugs in his
let me see
stomach
if I
are
remember
seeping
this.
out.
I think this one sucks. Or, like, this is the last one that's, like, okay, and then all of the rest of them
We
start
have
being
no
horrible.
idea what condition he'll be in, so be careful.
Endoscopy is the worst!
Beginning the operation.
Alright. Oh, also, if you didn't notice, they have, there's different, like, sayings for each of the
Chief,
occupations, which I find really interesting, because the big one in the original games was the patient's life is in your hands, which you'll see when we go into surgery. But this one was, you must seek the truth that lies within, and I don't remember orthopedics, or it's like something about skill and precision, and then first response is like the first moments are the most critical, or something like that.
Got it. The patient swallowed a lot of toxins. If he starts going into shock, it'll be fatal.
once we found the substances, we will use the forceps to retrieve them. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe in you. Do it.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. So I was talking about this earlier. I'm not sure why, but for some reason, if you have the camera sensitivity on 6, it's a lot easier to work with. So if you have this game, put the camera sensitivity on 6. I don't know why it makes it easier, but it does. So just do it. Shia LaBeouf. What's it? Make your dreams come true. Is that what it said?
There are affected areas nearby. Let's treat them before moving on.
Easy is good. Well, easy is good for these modes in particular. Endoscopy is the worst. Literally, like, the entire fandom agrees with me. I need to not talk during those parts because I actually need to be able to hear it for the sound cue there. Oh god. Endoscopy is the worst. It's like, I forgot how bad endoscopy was until I actually, like, started playing it again to practice, and I'm like, why would anyone ever like this mode?
Use the forceps to
Pull a Naomi if you make a sequel to this game, which you really damn need to, and just give her a different occupation. That's what you did with Naomi. Do it for Tomoe too, or just rework endoscopy so it doesn't suck.
Held by the forceps. Now to retract the forceps and pull it out.
We've retrieved the drugs, but something's not right. This isn't as
There
much
we
as had
go.
been reported.
It's too soon for them to have been absorbed by now. That means...
Right. Unfortunately, they must have gotten separated since they were swallowed.
If the drugs he ingested get absorbed into his body, he'll go into shock. We have to search for them immediately and retrieve the ones that remain.
Alright. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. And this is what we fucked up earlier.
We've reached the cardia. Where could the drugs be?
Wait. Yeah, do that. Oh, don't do that. I hate it when it does that. There we go.
Whatever he's...
I don't need to yank it as far as I feel like I need to there. Okay. Here we go. Oh wait, I should go this way, shouldn't I? Oh, okay, there's a thingy there. Let's go get the thingy there, and then we'll get the hemorrhaging.
This isn't good. The inner walls seem to be damaged. This will impede our ability to retrieve the foreign objects, so let's be sure to treat them as well.
It's still not enough. Keep looking.
Wherever the hell the hemorrhaging was, there it was. There we go. That's more like it. More medicine. This is why you don't overdose. Uh-oh.
Is there an affected area under the foreign object?
It's been affected by the toxic substance. Tomoe, treat it.
For some reason, I forgot that not all of the things that you syringe look the same. I'm not sure why, but adjusting the light there real quick. I need to back up to see that. Yeah.
It's hemorrhaging. Let's perform hemostasis after draining the blood pool.
There's another affected area hidden nearby. Let's seek it out.
Oof. This is gonna be a pain in the butt. Oh, here we go.
There should be another ulcer. Let's use the spray and look for it.
And I'm guessing that dot behind us is the ulcer that we need to
We're not
spray.
done yet. The vitals aren't stabilizing. Let's search.
I think they give you an icon first, though, don't they? Yeah, I think this was the part that made me just go, fuck this. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, I thought they had that icon first.
Good. Be careful how much medicine you inject into the ulcer. Strange. We've searched the entire stomach, but
Yeah, I think it gets more obnoxious if I remember right. Scooch it a bit.
If that's the case, they may have progressed into the
No,
small intestine.
don't do that.
There isn't a moment to spare.
All right. Let's proceed into the small intestine while treating the damage caused by these drugs.
Okay. Good. Where the hell are we? Okay. So we do want to go this way. Okay, yeah, I see. Things. Oh no. Don't make us do one of these again.
We've reached
There
the
we go.
we're through the pylorus and are moving into the small intestine. Peristaltic
Yeah,
movement.
you just gotta remember, don't yank it through those. Oh, here we go. Here's the thing where it pushes you back. I fucking hate this. I didn't think this happened until the next one, but nope. Oh, crap. like, I will just warn all of y'all, if there's any point in this Jenny Plays series where I just straight up rage, it's gonna be during endoscopy.
I'm going to remove it.
Or maybe first response, only because I'm very anal with myself when it comes to first response. Because it's like the one mode I'm actually pretty good at.
Let's get the loop around the polyp and excise it. Be quick about it.
Okay, these aren't too bad.
Let's adjust the snare's position until the ring is
So,
secured
you
above
use the
affected
snare
area.
and then you use the control stick to move it up and down, and to rotate it, you actually rotate the nunchuck itself.
The polyp's been excised.
And then you use
Now use the
forceps.
forceps to retrieve the tissue we cut off.
What the hell, forceps? Oh. See, I'm not used to this mode. The forceps look different in the other modes. Oh, I gotta get closer. That would be part of it. Oh, crap. Let it do the
There's
thing.
a polyp.
Okay.
Let's get the snare around it and excise it.
We can finally move on. Let's proceed.
Oh, God. What the hell is that? It looks terrifying. Time to get some stabilizer. Alright. Oof. Could be worse, but yeah.
This is severe.
Still don't look good. I mean, they looked bad on the map, so... I have been doing a lot better at looking at the map. As I've been
I need to
practicing.
position the ring so that it can go around the affected
Okay,
area.
so then I'll force up them all. 1, 2,
An inflammation's occurred.
3.
It's hemorrhaging. Let's perform hemostasis after draining the blood pool.
Let's do that first.
It seems there are no more
Alright.
affected areas around here.
Yeah, in general, with this game, you want to try to switch tools as least as possible. At least in this game. In the older games, you might have to, because the tools have... At the very least, they have harsher limits. Like, you can only use them so much for so long. In this game, I don't think they have any. But if they do, they're very
The
light.
inner walls of the digestive tract are starting to be affected by the drugs. Treat the affected areas too.
Like, I would actually say, even though this is the latest game in the series, I normally introduce people to the series using Trauma Team. Not only because of the different modes, and it's just, in my opinion, the best game out of all of them, but it's also just the easiest to access in terms of being able to get and also being able to know how to play. Because, like, it shows you right there. It shows you what tool to use. In the older games, they're like, well, I hope you know by now, bitch.
Build an object. I'll begin retrieval.
Good. This
I
is-
haven't been looking too much just because of all of this stuff happening. I know that they had... I know MagFest had its spring MagCon. I think it was last weekend. Oh, that's right.
There's a tumor.
The
under floor.
tumors! I probably should be looking at it more, though.
We have to do this. Stay sharp and treat it.
I did see...
The tumor is
or at least I thought I saw... Maybe this is you. I don't know. But, I got a tournament email. And I'm like, why am I getting a tournament email in May? Like, I think I did. I'll have to double check it. It was just, I just found it kind of weird. Because for those of you that aren't aware, for the past 5 or so years, I've done a tournament for this game at MagFest. And at MagFest Laboratories, in addition. We got hemorrhaging!
Excised area is hemorrhaging.
And the way I did it this year was a little different. And people seem to enjoy it. So I'm always kind of changing up the tournaments just like a little bit every year. see what people like. But normally what I do is I do a Trauma Center tournament and then a Persona spin-offs tournament.
I'll begin treating the affected areas. The focus was successfully removed. The tumor treatment is complete.
No, I have,
The affected areas have been treated.
yeah, I think I did hear about that.
This is all we can do. All that's left is...
There's, for those of you that are tuning into this later, from what I saw on, I'm a staffer at MagFest, I should say that. But, so, MagFest has a, well, non-profit organization / business / there's an official Slack, which is basically like Discord, but a professional Discord. But yeah, I thought I read something on there about like some staffers streaming or like, I don't want to say too much because I just glanced at it and I don't remember exactly what I saw. But yeah, this has nothing to do with MagCon because this is actually something that I've been planning, granted probably before I even started going to MagFest. Like, I played this game when it came out in 2010, so I wanted to do it for the 10-year anniversary. Or, it probably would have been after MagFest, because the reason that MagFest, honestly, I was so hooked on it so quickly, one of the main reasons was how many freaking people knew what Trauma Center was. It was crazy. Like, the first tournament I ran, let's see what we got. Okay, B, not too bad. The first tournament I ran was a Trauma Center one. Because I put a whole list of stuff and I said, like, I've never run a tournament by myself, but like I've done tournaments and I have rule sets for all of these ideas. Let me know what you think would be best. And the main manager was like, Trauma Center actually sounds really interesting. And I'm like, that's actually the one I wanted to do the most, but I didn't think anybody would want me doing it. So, but people were like, Trauma Center? And the department head for cosplay, hopefully I'm pronouncing their username right, Shroscat. I first became really good friends with them because they recognized my Naomi cosplay. That was some good shit.
Oh no, it's because of your support, Chief. Thank you very much.
And then I think the next year was the year I did the Persona one. So they let me do 2 because they know I, for the most part, know what I'm doing and stuff. And I would do more, but A, there's only so many slots to go around, and B, I'm staffing a lot of the cosplay stuff, so that takes up a lot of my Friday and Saturday. Alright. I will definitely look at that.
I'm sorry. Here's the antitoxin.
Is it ready? Oh, you galoot. Give it here.
So, the news, according to Big F Monster, is they're gonna start streaming on MagFest's Twitch account.
Come on.
So, if you follow MagFest's Twitch,
All right, it worked.
stuff is going to start happening. Or they're gonna try to make stuff start happening.
He's breathing.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
What is that?
I might just do that.
Oh, you did it.
Like, I definitely, like,
So,
will keep this series as my own thing, but I'd have to look at everything, but I might do, like, the kind of stuff that I do for my other games on there. I'd have to look at it. But, okay. But yeah, so, for those of you curious, look at, MagFest's Twitch account, because some staffers might be doing some stuff on there. But yeah, I've heard from a few people, about doing, like, some group things. I know that's very vague, but I kind of have to be vague. Those people know who they are, and they know the people involved, I guess you can say. Alright. Will this be the last one we'll do? Let's see. This is the only one that's in this area, I believe. Oh, in addition to another game mission. Yeah, so it'd be Time for Trouble, and then after that... Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead, I think... Yeah. That'll be good. That'll cap me at about an hour and a half. What the heck is my controller? So I am going to play Gabe's third mission, Time for Trouble, and then the next time I'm on, or at least doing this, which will be most likely next Tuesday, we'll go ahead and start CR and Maria, and continue with Tomoe, and then do missions and go from there. Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. I think. I might check my doc that I have. I have like docs for this and everything. So I might check that while I'm looking at this one. I think this is the episode where we get the character that yes. Okay, yeah. This is the episode where we get the character that Maddie's Masquerades cosplayed. Yes, this is her on Thursday of MagFest for the Hank group. So I was Maria, Shadnader was Hank, and then Maddie was Claire, who's about to come in.
Patients in room 3.
But yeah, actually, I know there's a video of it on YouTube. I don't think it's on MagFest's YouTube because it was in the arena, but there is a video of the cosplay contest this year, and I actually went in as Maria, and Maddie also came as Claire.
No, we should have 16 ready too.
Dr. Freeman.
I will say, if you do end up watching that, slight spoiler alert for Hank's plot.
Sorry if I made you wait.
Not at all. I always enjoy assisting with
Yes.
surgery.
Yeah, this would be a good place to end.
Thank you. Well, let's go over the procedure then.
There are 2 critical areas, the right arm and the left leg.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, there's actually a very similar plot to this in Trauma Center Second Opinion. And I think I actually streamed a little bit of that plot last week, and I said, there's a plot very similar to this in Trauma Team. This is it. So basically, I don't know why, but the Trauma Center crew, like, has a thing for young teenage, like, females committing suicide in their games or attempting suicide in their games. But yeah, she jumped, I think they said, and the girl in the other game, like, overdosed on a bunch of medicine. But they both have a very similar, what's the point of living and blah, 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 blah. In the original game, the reason she's like that is because she's infected with guilt. Let me check real quick on this character. I don't remember if she's infected with the virus or not.
We will align the
I don't
fractured bones and hold
think she
together.
is. But I'm gonna look real quick
That
because I'm
sounds good.
curious.
Let's begin the operation.
But yeah, the other character's name is, I want to say Linda Reed. And she is from Trauma Center Under the Knife and Second Opinion. Yeah, I didn't think she had the illness. Because they make it not super obvious, but they make it more obvious than they did here if she would have had the illness. Work your marvel with strength and skill, that's what Hank says.
committed suicide.
But yeah, so this character actually becomes a major part of Hank's plot.
Yes, we must save her.
There's a bunch of plots that have like very important side characters. Like Gabe's is Joshua, who we've already met. In Hank's, it's Claire. Maria, I don't think really has one. CR, I guess you could say maybe has a couple. Tomoe has some that we haven't seen yet, and then Naomi has a really important one. Who's calling me? Decline. I'm trying to operate on a patient.
Forceps to reshape this bone's orientation.
Alright.
I have to grasp the humerus and align it.
So this is something that was done in the old Trauma Center games as well.
The humerus is back in its original.
It needs to
And
be
they
secured.
moved it to orthopedics because it has to do with
First,
bones.
I'll need to drill holes into the bone for the screws to go into. I have to be careful to drill deep enough without going beyond the guides.
This can be very deceptive. But basically, you have to press and hold A, and then you drag, and you want to get to that glowing blue part. I just realized, I think that I'm on... Yeah, I'm on intern. I want to be on resident. I'm done. I'm gonna watch part of the cutscene again just in case, because I think they said that she jumped from somewhere. Because that would make sense because she had broken bones.
Hank, thank God. Can you get in surgery right now?
Yeah. What's wrong?
I just carried in an
Or maybe
emergency
it's assumed.
and attempted suicide.
Why? Why did the patient try to commit suicide?
Like, how should I know? Yeah.
I want to ask that myself. Now shut it and get going. The patient's in
Okay,
room
so yeah, they don't actually say, but I think it's pretty obvious that she jumps from somewhere.
two
She,
people aligned
bit of a spoiler alert for Persona 5, but not really because it happens fairly early on in the game. She basically pulls a Shiho. Oops. All right, let's try this again. Ba 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 ba.
The humerus is broken and out of alignment.
I'll need the forceps to
Okay,
reshape the
yeah, we did that.
grasp the humerus and align
There
it
we
with the
go.
guide.
Thank goodness.
And that's a similar
It's
thing
back in its original position.
with the stapler. I would say use the B button, like keep holding the B button down, and use the A button to actually like lock it in.
It needs to be secured in
Okay,
the plate.
here we go.
At first, I'll need to drill holes into the bone for the screws to go into. I have to be careful to drill deep enough without going beyond the guides.
The first hole has been drilled. Please do the same for the next one.
But yeah, if you see where that area is bright blue,
Solid.
oh, rock solid is a big
Procedure.
Hank thing. So take a drink whenever you hear rock solid.
Already
Securing the fracture with screws.
Yeah, this is the part
Please
where
be
it really.
careful not to
This
touch
is more
the
of an auditorial thing than a visual
Yes,
thing.
of course. I just need to stop it at the guideline.
So I might actually lean in a little bit just to make sure I can hear it. Turn it up a little bit too.
Indeed. Please do the same with the next area. Please continue on. The right arm has been treated. Let's continue to the left leg.
This is terrible. Why did she do this to herself?
Who can say? I just hope she recovers. Let's begin retrieving the bone fragments.
Next fragment.
Please reshape the bent bone to make it align with the guide. Please reshape the other bones as well.
I was gonna say, don't suck, Senzorar. Okay,
Placing the
I can
bone
turn this down a little bit. Okay. And then this should look pretty familiar if you played the other Trauma Center games before.
Please
I
continue.
think, actually, Naomi's first second opinion mission is basically exactly this. And then,
We seem to be missing a fragment.
they do a similar
The
thing
ones we extracted?
later on in general surgery.
That's odd. You didn't find it
You will
inside
find
the
out.
leg?
We don't have a
Is
choice.
that the person?
Get the
So do you
synthetic
use?
bone.
No. Alright.
Doctor, the synthetic bone is ready.
The outline of the shape we need has already been projected.
Okay, yeah,
Just
so
have to
this
use
can be
laser
pretty
pointer.
tricky.
Yes. Make sure not to divert from the guideline while cutting.
Because not only do you want to stay within this guideline, you want to stay within this circle that I'm outlining right now with my pointer. Because if you go too far to the end, it will cut your combo off for no reason really. Alright, I'm going to mute this. And it reminded me, for those of you that are not aware, BlurredCon has also been canceled / postponed. Just like Otakon was.
It's going
I
well.
had a feeling Otakon would be just because it was so huge. Wasn't sure about Blurred. So the ones that are kind of like hanging in the air on the fence right now are SmashCon, which I don't even know if they even mentioned dates, and Fairfax Comic-Con. And both of those
It's going
will
well.
be subject to Virginia laws because they're both in Virginia. I would not be surprised if both of them got canceled.
Alright.
Fairfax tends to be a fairly small one, but also the area that both cons use is pretty small. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I feel like everybody really is actually kind of taking things day by day right now. My hope is that we get the country back up and running by next MagFest, honestly. Halloween would be great.
Good. Cautiously continue on.
That's the other thing he says. And cautiously continue on.
Please continue on.
I know also Anime USA is still slated to go on, but I know there's like a lot of precautions being taken there.
Rock solid. This can be used in place of the law.
That would depend on DC laws, because that takes place in DC.
The synthetic bone you shaped is ready. Please place it in the area.
Alright.
The synthetic bone has been placed. Now we can secure it into position.
Bring me the drill.
Please continue in the next area.
Alright, it's going well. Continuing procedure.
It's going well. Let's continue on.
Sorry, I'm not really talking during these ones. They're really tiny, so. Really gotta focus for them.
Now we need to secure the
Alright.
the screws.
Let me make sure I can hear.
Please be careful not to tighten the screws too much.
Yeah, that was bad. That went way faster than I thought it was gonna go. Ooh, yeah, that wasn't it either. There we go.
It's going well today.
There we go. That's more like it. And we gotta do more drilling. Yeah, some of the orthopedic ones and the endoscopic ones can be very long.
Please continue in the next area.
Yeah, that one was just on a weird angle.
Going well.
There we go. Keep worried that you didn't mess up. Oh, keep getting goods. And screw
Now we need to secure the
down to screw.
Please be careful not to tighten the screws too much.
Doing there. Yeah, that was more of the like the time I thought I was gonna need. Those are the screws. I need to do them a little earlier. There we go. It also helps to look at the camera angle too. Like for these, it's basically almost right when the camera angle switches, but not completely. Those are very timing, kind of like how the hemorrhage one is.
Remember with plates?
The hemorrhages are in the endoscopy, yeah.
No.
Endoscopy.
This case,
Oh
I'll
god,
treat the
pins.
fixation. Let's begin by treating the condyle.
Understood. I'll go.
Condyle, I'm assuming, is some kind of bone. I'm
First,
gonna
we
double
use
check.
the drill
Just
to
in
create a
case.
guide for driving the pins.
I'm gonna look up these things for your guys' sake. A rounded protuberance at the end of some bones forming an articulation with another bone. So, yeah, that's basically that. It's basically this, from what I can tell. Alright. Yeah, this is really like a whole bunch of those really close together.
Alright? The guide has
Can
been
you
created.
bring out the
Bring out
pins?
the pins. Now, I'll drive the pin in.
Understood. Please drive it in until it reaches the guideline.
Yeah. These I'm really bad at. Laser Cats was trying these the other day, and he was better at them than I was. Let's see.
Alright? Continuing the treatment.
Oh, nice.
Already the next pin.
Knock on wood. I can do that again. What? Oh, fuck.
Could you hand me the next pin? Rock solid.
I always get
Let's
worried
shift
that
our
I'm gonna
focus
hit
to
it
next
too
theme.
much.
First, we need to use the drill. Readying it right now.
There's a lot of drilling in this one. Ooh, that was close. It's very easy for me to lose my focus on these I found. I don't know if I got.
The pin is the next step. Please be careful with it. The pin is ready to go.
Just drive it in until the bone meets the guideline.
Splendid. Please continue. Here's the next pin. Please do it the same way. This is the last pin. Please drive it in.
Damn it.
I hit it too hard at the end there.
Luckily, that was the last pin, so we still had a pretty high
Seems
combo.
to be secure, though. Let's close up the operation field.
Alright.
The stapler is
Definitely
ready.
not. I definitely still have a lot
On the guide.
to work on with the pins.
Please continue.
Good. Cautiously continue on.
There we go.
No problem. Let's be thankful for that.
Excellent work as always, Doctor.
Thank me. I just hope this girl finds her.
We will see. Will she be another Linda Reed?
Yes.
Question,
I'm sure
or
she'll be
not
all right.
question. Spoiler alert, the answer is yes. Operation successful! Let's see. I feel like we did pretty well there. We just got that miss at the end. And we also took a long time. I'm good with A.
The operation was completed safely. Now that's how a true specialist works.
I still have much to learn.
Don't worry. I'm sure the patient will be happy with the results as well.
Alright, now we get sad Claire Blunt cutscenes. So this was a very interesting character for Maddie to cosplay. Because they're normally like a very happy person. So I'm like, are you going to be able to play depressed as fuck? Because that's basically what Claire
Save
is.
patients' lives.
I mean, her last name is literally Blunt.
Don't
Like,
mind me. I'm tired of hearing crap like that.
and I feel like that was very clearly intentional.
Forcing people to believe you're right all the time. What's so great about being alive?
That symbolic, like, that symbolic flower falling. I don't know whether to be like touched by that or laugh at it because it was just so on the nose. What's the point of being alive, flower drops?
Your leg should be fine in 2
Oof.
months. You'll be out soon. I'll check in on you later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this part's the... I did watch his scenes quite a bit to prep for the cosplay group at MagFest. So, yeah, he was an army vet. I believe we find out here. So he's got a bit of some PTSD going on here. Unfortunately. He's had a lot of stuff. I'm actually just now realizing
John.
the significance of having that scene after the scene where Claire goes, "What's the point of being alive?" That's actually really significant, and I didn't realize it until like
Saving
just
people
this
to feel
moment.
better about myself. Yeah, I know.
I think this is the only time that
I can't stop.
John
now.
is referenced, from what I remember. All right. So, let me see. Oh, I got rid of it. I'm a dumb. I can just look at it on here. So, next episode, which will probably be next Tuesday, maybe around 2:20 as well, but we'll see. We'll do the opening cutscenes for CR and Maria. We'll continue with Tomoe. We'll do their first missions. We'll continue with Hank. And then... who's the first storyline to finish? I'm trying to remember. It's probably Tomoe. Tomoe actually has a pretty big break period after her 5th one. Oh yeah, because a lot of those take place at the same time, I believe. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and then that's spoilers. Alright, so... yeah. I'll have to look at the actual lists probably on my own time, but I'm thinking... oh, what the heck? I'm thinking I might want to do 2, maybe 2 more episodes of the main plot, and then do one specifically for Patient Zero, which is the final chapter where they all like come together. But yeah, I'll have to look at the list, my Google Docs. I'll have to see how the timing works, when other people can join in on stuff. And yeah, but I think, let me see if I can get to it really quick. The way that I originally had this planned, I think we went through like the course of like 6 episodes that I had planned in one session. Let me see. Real quick, just because I'm curious, you know? Last one we did was Time for Trouble. Yeah, which would have been episode 6. So, granted, we didn't do episodes 3 and 5 that I had down. So, we basically did 4 episodes. So, but who cares about that anymore, right? Because we're on a new system because COVID-19, coronavirus. At least it's not the Rosalia virus. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and bump some wood and then log off for the day. I will let you guys know when my next stream is. I'm probably going to stream Animal Crossing again pretty soon on Friday, because I have been doing a lot of updates. I finally got my basement floor, but I also really want to do Jackbox or Keep Talking, so we'll see on that. And then the rest of the days I'll just have to see if I'm into it or not, but you could probably expect Friday, and then hopefully Monday as well. Next Tuesday will be an almost definite. Well, actually, not next Monday, because next Monday is my mom's birthday. I'm silly. But Friday and Tuesday are probably the most likely. But follow me on my social medias to be the latest up to date. My social medias are One Jenny Fan pretty much everywhere, except for Twitter. It's Court Washington. I post when I'm going to stream on my Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And then I always forget to say this, but feel free to subscribe if you're on YouTube, or follow if you're on Twitch. I mean, you can subscribe, but I definitely would not expect it from you because subscription is a paid thing on Twitch. That way you'll know right when I'm on. So yeah, thank you for I think it's a pretty successful first episode of this Jenny Plays Trauma Team thing that I've been waiting to do for literally years. Yeah, pretty much. Big shout outs to Big F Monster and Desk Laser for actually popping in on this time. And I will keep you guys updated. Stay safe out there. don't catch Corona, and don't catch Rosalia. Have a good day, everyone.